If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will really show it. Then you're happy and know it, stomp your feet. Well, now wasn't that just kind of fun? I mean, to get started here on a cold and windy day in central Iowa. It does say 35 degrees, but it is a northwest wind, pretty gusty into that 25 to 30 mile an hour range, and that is got a chill. I had to go to Starbucks and get the morning order, and now we're going to put together a podcast, and we are talking about mental illness most of the time. This is Jim Stordahl, Stordahl, Jim Stordahl. And I have been online for a while as Jim the bus driver. You can still catch me at hashtag Jim the bus driver all over any media. That's how I get speaking engagements. That's how I get wedding officiant requests. That's how I get information about my books. And I do write. I'm now on my ninth book. I'm about halfway through, and it's called Orbits. And it is kind of sometimes ramblings from a lifelong bipolar 2. And nothing has pleased me more than to finally get labeled as a bipolar 2. I mean, it answers a lot of questions. I mean, there's been some challenges in my life, and my reactions sure follow the script on bipolar 2. Now, a lot of people will say, boy, you're going to admit you've got a mental illness? Well, you have to understand that mental health is health. And if you have struggles and you're keeping it a secret like so many people do, you are doing everyone a disfavor and especially yourself. You're doing yourself a disfavor. It's okay to have a mental illness. Many of us do. 1 in 5 Americans experience a mental illness each year. On average, people live with the symptoms of a mental illness for 10 years before seeking treatment, largely due to the stigma, that big hurdle, the stigma hurdle. Don't talk about it. The sooner people get treatment, the greater their chances of recovery. It's okay because it's a physical ailment, not a character flaw. Mental illnesses are biological conditions that can be treated. Just like cancer, just like diabetes, they cannot be overcome through willpower and are not related to a person's character or intelligence. It's okay because it's treatable. Life can get better. The best treatments for serious mental illness today are highly effective. In fact, more than 70% of symptoms are reduced, and people feel better when following their treatment plans. Most states in the Union have what's called a Healthiest State Initiative. Here in Iowa, they have it makeitokay.org. Makeitokay.org. We need to stop the silence. We need to make it okay. Mental illnesses are a touchy subject. They create voids in conversations. Here's some tips that can help. Stop the silence. If someone shares with you that they're experiencing a mental illness, they are opening up to you in a big way. Ask questions. Show concern and avoid awkward silences. Be nice. It sounds simple enough, but try to say the right things with openness, warmth, and caring. Listen. In your conversation, try to do more listening and less searching for a solution. Keep in contact. Offer to be available by phone, text, email, or meet up in person. Just be there. Don't ignore it. Don't be afraid to ask about someone's well-being if you think they might be hurting. Trust your judgment. Offer support. Everyone is different and may want very specific help or no help at all. Either way, ask and be open to the answer. MakeItOK.org/Iowa. Make it okay. We were talking before about trauma. Trauma. Trauma keeps you in a loop of your past. Sound familiar? You will be 25 with an 8-year-old mindset and thought process. That's why you people please, or overextend yourself, or stay places longer than you should have. Your inner child is screaming, saying, "Finally, someone loves me." A few points on mental illness. Mental illness by the numbers. 1 out of 10 children live with a serious mental or emotional disorder. That's 1 out of 10. 1 in 4 adults, that adds up to 57 million Americans, show symptoms of a mental health disorder every year. 1 in 17 live with serious diseases such as bipolar disorder. 1 in 17. Okay, that adds up to just a little more than 6 million. That's my club. I have been keeping this quiet all my life. 75% of lifetime cases of mental illnesses begin by the age of 24. 50% of teens with a mental disorder drop out of school. Are you aware of how many people have dropped out of school in your town, your county, your state? There is a lot of them. More than 100 in the town that I'm at, Ankeny, Iowa, every year. Not just in the past 10 years, 5 years, every year. Drop out of school. Suicide. One person dies by suicide every 40 seconds. For every one person, nearly 1 in 5 are affected. Suicide survivors are at greater risk. We need to destigmatize suicide. I've written, like I've said, 8 books, working on number 9, and I deal with mental health issues. And I don't come on strong like I have just done for the last few minutes. I share random thoughts. Um, I write a variety of short stories and memories, random thoughts from an Iowa grandfather, someone who has lived with bipolar 2 all of his life. My most recent book, out on Amazon, is called Send My Mail to the End of the Trail. And one of the things that I've been doing in the last few episodes is that I'm writing about what I know, what I've experienced. And there are so many ideas and thoughts that I can think of because I have what's called racing thoughts. I mean, my head is full of a lot of things. They're racing thoughts. You can't stop them. You have to pick and choose where you're going to land. And sometimes it can be, I'll go to bed and 2 hours later, I'm still awake because I'm doing battle with the constant barrage of all the things. It can be very entertaining. I mean, if you're looking at uh, keeping yourself active, not being bored, I've always looked at it with a sense of humor. I developed a sense of humor. I've got a favorite photo in my cave, and it is me and my dad and my brother and my brother-in-law, and we're all dressed up in our orange, and we're hunting in northern Minnesota. And there's 2 deer hanging on a rack between 2 trees behind us. 4 guys. How many people shot those 2 deer? Only one. Me. Took 3 shots. And my brother was ticked off. My brother-in-law could not believe it. My dad was so proud. The photo shows us all with our high-powered weapons and the deer hanging up in the background. And my comment on the picture is that guns in northern Minnesota are just fine for hunting. And the photo was, as I called it, a bittersweet shot from my past. My girlfriend at the time, now my wife of 51 years, took the photo in our family backyard after a productive morning hunting deer. My wife, Charlotte, was impressed with my hunting skills, but aghast on the killing business. She won my heart, and I quit hunting. Carrying high-powered rifles in the woods in northern Minnesota is a rite of passage. It continued the ageless hunter-gatherer psyche of able-bodied males. You can see by the expressions how each of us reacted to this staged ceremonial photo. And if you get one of my books, if you get this book, order it on Amazon. It's less than $10. It's on page 26. I think you'll see what I'm talking about. My brother hated to be in this shot. He was always a very poor hunter and would get turned around in the woods. He would not hit anything with the gun he was carrying. He was there to satisfy our father's desire to have his boys with him during this annual hunt. And if you talk to anybody about deer hunting in Minnesota or Wisconsin, it is a ritual. And if your dad, like my dad was, World War II vet, it was a ritual. You better be there. And you better be ready to go at 4 o'clock in the morning and ready to be out there any weather. My dad had a mixture of emotions on his face, the way I saw it. A little shy and goofy for the camera, proud of one of his boys got 2 deer with 3 shots. Happy that we finally have a family group shot of his man posse having conquered the woods on this very cold Saturday morning. And then there's my reluctant brother-in-law, a heavy smoker and very short stature, about 5 feet tall. The snow and heavy brush always takes a toll on his adventures in the woods. My dad and my brother-in-law are now gone. I haven't seen my brother in 20 years. We do not talk. Today, again, looking at this photo as a symbolic of a number of gun issues. Do the guns look out of place? Would a discussion of gun control and or gun violence arise from this photo? Not in a hunting sense, in the classroom, in church. These big guns should only be used when hunting, like in the North Woods, not in the streets of a large city. High-powered guns have no place in big cities. They may have a place in the trunks of the police who are there to serve and protect. I found some interesting thought in an op-ed in the Des Moines Register. The writer was Alan Gottlieb, founder of the Second Amendment Foundation and chairman of the Citizens Committee or the Right to Keep and Bear Arms. Mr. Gottlieb was writing about the trending talk about the shooting in Texas. Now, this goes back a few years. We've had a couple hundred shootings in about every state in the Union. Mr. Gottlieb mentioned that President Trump had suggested that the tragedy was a mental health issue rather than an arrogant dismissal of gun control proponents. He referenced that there are roughly 90 million gun owners in the U.S. who responsibly own firearms of all kinds. This is where I start to listen very closely. I was one of those. My family members belong to that number. I'm going to stop there because I'm at 18 minutes on my podcast here, and I like to hold it in that 15 to 18 minute span because the attention span in America has diminished greatly. And that's my story. Jim Stordahl. You can get on my website, www.jamesstordahl.com. Google hashtag Jim the Bus Driver. Google Bipolar Dad. You'll get a whole new, fresh look at some of my books, my speaking engagements, and what being bipolar is all about. That's it for today on this cold and windy Friday. I hope you have a good day.